Hey there, my friend. This is David Wood. I wanted to welcome you to this video. In this video, I'm going to teach you some secrets on how to attract to yourself what it is that you want to create in your life, down to the exact detail of what you describe in advance. I think a lot of people watching this video, they think that things like this aren't possible. Maybe they have, tried maybe they've watched the movie The Secret and they've even sat in their couch. They've grabbed, the recliner lever over on the right of the couch, reclined it back like they're imagining themselves grabbing the stick shift of a Porsche or a Ferrari. And they were surprised when a Ferrari didn't just magically appear in their yard, when somebody didn't just drive it up to them, drop it off with the keys and with the deed and say, hey, I'm just a messenger, here's a deed from the universe for your new car and exactly what it is that you want to create. Now you might be wondering, if you're watching this video, how I know how to attract exactly what I want to myself on autopilot, and it works literally 100% of the time. Well, let me tell you a little bit about that. I've done this to a very large level. Back in 2009, I remember I first started marketing, and I decided one day that I was just going to get into gear, that I was going to start working, that I was going to start producing results. And I went from living in a green 1996 Dodge Caravan that had paint peeled off, had old rusted tires, to living on beaches and making $10,000 a week. And I did that literally in a period of time of right around 90 days. Now, fast forward a couple years later, I was living in this place called Portalone, Costa Rica. It was up in the mountains. It was actually between two little mountains, and I used to sit and look out over a swimming pool, and then I'd look out in between these two mountains in front of me, and then in front of that there was this ocean. And I remember I would wake up in the morning, I would walk out of the room and just kind of like take a few steps, open up the window doors to my patio, and I would look outside, and I was like walking into a dream that I had created beforehand every single day. And I've gone on, after doing things like that, to doing things like, for example, doing hundreds of millions of dollars in sales on the internet in a couple hundred countries. And I've actually gone through periods of time where I've lost everything as well, where I've not attracted what I've wanted to attract in my life. And so doing this on the one hand correctly, and doing it on the other hand in a way that it didn't work the way that I wanted, and I didn't have the results that I wanted coming to me automatically. I can speak from experience on both sides of the equation. And over the period of years and over the period of experiences, I've discovered a handful of secrets that allow you, if you want them to attract to yourself literally exactly and specifically what it is that you want. First, what I want to do is I want to cover some principles for you. This is going to be a super long video, because I think that if you understand the principles to creating exactly what you want, whether it be you want to manifest a new car, whether you want to create a new relationship, whether you want to have income coming to you automatically, whether you work or not, whether you want to make more product sales in your business or more product sales in your network marketing opportunity, whether you want to have a new open door of opportunity from the universe set itself in front of you to where you can literally just grab the handle, open it through, and you step through, and there's like this golden path in front of you, and you walk out on this golden path. I don't know if you've ever walked on a path made of solid gold before, but if you haven't, just imagine that now. And you're just walking out, and just as you walk, it's just like abundance and prosperity and happiness and success, and literally the relationships that you want, the connections that you want, the energy that you want in your life. It just appears in front of you almost as if it was put there magically by a great outstretched hand from the universe. It just says, here, I'm giving you the new house, I'm giving you the new car, I'm giving you exactly what it is that you desire to have in your life. And if you're excited about that, I want you to say, okay, I'm excited. Now pay attention to the duration of this video, because I'm going to give you a secret in this video. And if you pay attention to this entire video, you're going to learn a secret that when you apply this secret, you're going to be able to radically and instantly change every single area of your life. I remember the first time when I felt really successful in my life. It was the first time I'd ever really succeeded at something big. And what was happening is I'd just done a webinar. Before the time when I had done this webinar, I'd been working for a period of about 3 months to attract people to me. And the way that I was attracting people to me, it was slow, steady, and it was very manual. What I learned is I learned that if you take, this is part of the secret, but you would keep paying attention to learn the whole thing. So what I learned is I learned that out of any group of people, okay, if you take a random section of society and you have a dream and your dream impacts people, if you take 100 people in society that are within a target market and you move them through a process and they get to hear your voice and they get to see your face and they get to kind of feel your presence through some sort of online technology, maybe they get to read an email, maybe they get to see a video, maybe they get to hear an audio that you made for them, maybe they get to see a Facebook post, and they get to hear specifically what they get to hear is they get to hear your vision for the future. What I learned is that out of a certain section of society, like let's say you have 100 people in society, and they move through this process where they get to know you a little bit and they get to actually listen to you deliver in some sort of a systematic way that actually makes sense to them. You get to essentially deliver your vision to them. In other words, you get to get on a video and you get to say, we're going to accomplish XYZ by XYZ date. That's it, period. What I'm doing this video for is I'm going to create just this I'm going to create this wave of people coming to me, and they're going to be pulling out their credit cards and they're going to be saying, you know, David, I actually just want you to take my credit card information, just take it, go ahead and do what you want with it, whether you want to charge $500 or $10,000 for a product or service, here's the credit card, I'm coming to you, and I'm practically like, I'm just describing to you what I'm going to create, because I feel like having a bunch of people come and buy something. So in any case, I remember the first time this worked. So I had been selling a couple of different products and services a day for a period of time, to where I had had 1 sale a day, 2 sales a day. Then I started making $100 a day, $200 a day, $300 a day. And when I started creating the results that I wanted, I literally couldn't believe how easy it was, because I remember for a long time when I did things the old way without the secret in the past, what happened is that I found that it was like I was pushing. It was like I had a message and I was trying to get it across to people and I was pushing it on them, and it was doing this. People weren't radically just receiving the message and they weren't just instantly deciding to work with me. It was like a really long, really frustrating, drawn out process that I had learned, of course, from doing traditional network marketing, because what I was doing was I was wandering around and I was essentially pitching my message to strangers. I was picking up the phone and I was pitching people and I was saying to them, I was saying, you know, hey, I've got this new exciting deal, this new exciting opportunity, and people actually weren't very attracted. And then what I did is I learned how to flip the switch. I learned how to change it just like that, to where instead of me going to people, I had people coming to me automatically, to where people were literally lining up one by one. Like if you could imagine like 1,000 people standing up in a line, and literally like they have their credit card already in their hand and they're just waiting for the line to complete. They don't really want to talk to me too much. They don't really want to go through any more of a process. They just got their credit card in hand. They've memorized the number of their credit card because they're so excited to enter it into some sort of a form that I've got at the end of this line, and they're just waiting for their opportunity to spend their money on your products or services. Could you even imagine how successful you would be if, like, let's say you woke up in the morning and there was just a giant line outside your house, right? And you woke up in the morning and you're like, man, I don't know how long I can handle this. I need a vacation. And you just get your credit card machine, you go to the door, and one by one, it's almost like autonomous robots. People just automatically are walking up, and you have some sort of product, it's got this magical secret in it that nobody else knows, how you got this secret. It's like maybe it's this new jungle juice berry that you found at the top of the mountains that heals every disease, like Zamba Wamba Hamba juice. Or maybe it's you've got some sort of training or some sort of other product that enhances immunity, and you're just so attracted. You get out and your hair is like all wild. You didn't even have time to shower, and you just like open the door, and these people are like, here's my credit card, and you just swipe it, you give them the product, the next person shows up, and then pretty soon you find out, you're like, man, I need to hire an employee to stand here so I can go do other things. And then you hire an employee to stand there, and then you go take a vacation to the beach, and you log in, sure enough, and then your employee's like, man, this is just overwhelming. So many people are making a decision to pull out their credit card and buy. We've got a line, it's 3 miles down the road. We need some like other credit card outlets, and we need some other people with credit card swiping machines, because I mean, just today's sales is enough to buy that Ferrari you wanted, right? Could you even imagine that? And that's what it was like. So it was like people were coming to me. It's like they were in a line. It was like they were clamming at the bits. It's like their palms were sweaty and their foreheads were sweaty and their teeth were shaking, and they were saying, just give me this product. I want to buy something right now. That's what it was like. And so in any case, I popped on this webinar, and on this webinar, I decided to share this top secret strategy. So I shared this secret strategy on this webinar, and it came across like I pitched it just right. I planned it in advance. And then what happened is, rather than getting my message in front of a few people a day and having a sale or two a day, I was able to get my message in front of about 500 people in a single day. And when I got my message in front of 500 people in a single day, that night, I remember, I made about it was like somewhere between $12,000 and $15,000 in commissions. I actually don't remember. What I do remember is I got on the webinar, and I was doing this sales presentation, and it was selling this low-priced ticket, this low-ticket item. It was like a software that allowed people to do SEO, right, back in the day. Back when you just built like tons of backlinks, and that was the strategy to do SEO. And then I was selling this, and I told them I was going to give them a top secret strategy if they get me a testimony as well. So I had people literally, I was like, it's urgent, you got to buy right now, you got to make a decision that you are going to take massive action. It's like literally everybody is running in before you, and who knows when this person might stop selling this top secret technology. It's urgent to pull out your credit card and make a decision to get in right now, right? And I remember I did that, and then, man, I logged in, and I was like, I hadn't, left my computer in days. I'd been working on this webinar presentation to get my message out in front of the masses. And this webinar presentation, it was like perfect, right? And then I finally did it, and I smelled. I mean, I hadn't talked to anybody. I had stayed in a room, like I'd been drinking caffeine all day, and yeah, something I don't do really anymore. I don't drink caffeine anymore, but I've been drinking caffeine all day just to stay awake, making this presentation, and then I'd done it, and then I was like, holy smoke. So I drove over to my buddy Chris Rushlow's house, because a couple of years back, he had been in this little scheme with me, this little home party scheme, where we used to sell vitamins. And we used to sell these vitamins that, I don't know if you've ever sold something like this, that they didn't really taste good, but people thought they tasted good because the vitamins themselves actually tasted like the commissions people were going to get. If you've ever done something like a home business or something like this, where you say, the reason you should buy this, and the reason you should buy into it, and the reason you should pay attention to this video, it's not because the product's good, it's because you can get a commission. That's actually kind of the pitch that they use in network marketing. Anyway, so people used to buy these horrible tasting vitamins, and they used to buy them and eat them up because the vitamins themselves, they tasted like the commissions that they were going to get. So we made the taste of the vitamins good by making it sound like they were eating commissions, right? And then we even tested it, like if we talked about the comp plan, and then we gave people the product to taste after the comp plan, people were like, tastes kind of good. But if we gave it to them when we were just doing a product pitch, they're like, oh, this is the most awful thing I've ever tasted. So literally people made a decision to buy it because of what they wanted, which what they wanted was this river of free money coming to them automatically that they didn't even have to work for. It was just like the universe opened up this time gate space portal of free money, and it was just dumping it on them, and they were just swimming. Literally, they were swimming in this river, this pile of delicious money, automatic, free commissions that came to them regardless of whether they were doing anything or not. So how would you like to know how it is that we were able to create that? You're like, what are we talking about? We're talking about getting rich, right? Or whatever it is that you want to create, right? And it might not be getting rich. It might be just creating a relationship that is attractive to you automatically. It might just be positioning yourself in the marketplace in a way where people start coming to you and they start pulling out their credit cards. It's a little bit more easy when they're pulling out their credit cards. It was like you used to work for it in the past, and now it's just like they show up and it's like, I don't even know why I have this credit card out, but I'm ready to buy because your message is so urgent and so important. And so they pull out their credit card and it's like their arm is moving automatically and they hand it over to you, and then you take the credit card, you swipe it in the machine, or maybe it is like they're sitting, you don't even see them. They're behind their computer and they're staring at the computer screen and they're nodding their head and they're saying, yes, I want some right now, whatever it is, everybody's buying, I'd better get in and better make a decision right now because it's urgent, and like my hands, like they're just like, oh, take my credit card right now, right? Maybe that's what it is that you're creating. So you don't even have to leave the house. You don't even have to hire an employee to stand in a line because you've got an automatic credit card processing empire on the internet where people are just, they're like, it doesn't matter that the whole world's in a pandemic. It doesn't matter that everybody's freaking out and wearing gas. It doesn't matter that blah, 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 blah is happening with the economy. These people are just buying my products automatically. It doesn't matter whether it's sunny or whether it's the nighttime, whether it's a starry night, whether the waves are coming in or a tidal wave just hit somewhere in Japan. I'm sitting here and these commissions are coming into my bank account, and literally they're depositing themselves in my bank account. They're practically leaping into my bank account, and my bank account is exponentially increasing in piles and piles of automatic, free, systematic, increasing, exponential piles of money commissions. And it's just happening for me on this. So how is it that you create that now, if you want? And the cool thing is, when you get in a spot in your life where money is coming to you, it really is actually easy to attract what you want to yourself if you go out there and you do it in the right way. If you're not doing it in the right way, it's actually not easy. But if you want it to be easy, and if you've ever experienced it to where you've had periods of time where wealth has come to you and prosperity has come to you and your life has exponentially expanded and your relationships have just turned into what you want, and people have come at you with from every direction and they've said, I want to work with you, or you've just had something happen where just like bam, the relationship that you wanted just like appeared magically into your life, then I want you to pay attention, because you can actually recreate that effect on autopilot all the time to where you're just positioned perfectly. It's like you're in the center of this universe where there's magnetic energy in every direction just pulling to you automatically the life that you want. Are you ready to learn how to do it? I hope that you are. You're like, I don't know what I'm even listening to, but I'm excited to get in, right? Well, I'm actually not selling anything right now, so I'm just giving it to you. I'm giving you this secret for free. Are you ready for it, right? Are you ready? Are you ready to get this secret that has radically transformed the lives of people all over the world, that has people all over the world creating what they want in small businesses, in home businesses, in the jobs that they have, right? Granted that they just didn't go through some sort of layoff or whatever. They're in a transition phase, and the only reason they got laid off is because they're headed to a better job and they're headed towards a more prosperous life. Are you ready to understand how exactly things magnetically and automatically get attracted to you? And it's like practically, you know what it's like? it's like there's a river, and you're in this river, and you've been mowing upstream all your life. Have you ever tried to mow, have you ever tried to go upstream? Have you ever tried to go upstream in a river? Like you've tried to your mow your water boat up, and I don't ever know the word. If it's mow the water boat, right? You're fighting. You're fighting. There's like this little gold thing you see up the stream. So you take this, and then you realize something, right? You realize something, and what is it that you realize? You realize that you're really fighting, and the stream is pushing against you, and no matter how hard you use the oar, right? No matter how much effort you put in, you're still going backwards. So then you're like, I wonder what is the other way. So what you do is you take your boat and you just look over your shoulder like this, and you see there's more gold downstream, right? And you say, oh, this is easy. So what you do is you just sink your oar down in the water, you hold it down, and then the current takes your boat and it turns it. So now you're facing the other way, right? You're facing towards your future, and now all of a sudden, your like arms are just like exhausted from trying to go upstream. And you just change direction, right? You just change direction, and now you're actually going in the direction of the flow of the water. Hold on, I gotta get my water here. Hold on. You're going in the direction of the water, and now you're getting to where you want to go easy, without effort, automatically, whether you row or not, right? So you were fighting. You were like putting all your energy into it. You were like, I'm going to go upstream, and I'm going to get to that one tiny little gold bar that I see. I'm going to work so hard. And then all of a sudden you go back there and you're like, wait a second, the water's going that way. This is really strong. I mean, you're practically in some, you're in some rapids. And you say, oh, and you just put your row down. Your boat turns automatically in the right direction to go exactly where you want. And you just pull your little row in, and your little paddle in, and kind of go like this every once in a while, and you notice how much easier it is, and the river just takes you where you want to go, to a bigger pile of gold, right? To exactly where you wanted to go. It's like the current of life takes you where you want to go automatically, whether you work or not. Now, have you ever been out surfing? If you've ever been out surfing, you know how much work it is sometimes getting out there, right? Like sometimes it's like, man, you're swimming, right? And it's like you're trying to get out there, or you're trying to get out to the waves where everybody else is, right? And it's a lot of work, man. It's exhausting getting out there, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, you ever got caught in a riptide before, right? There's this water, right? It's carrying you out. I remember my karate teacher, Mr. Scott. He was teaching me something a long time ago. He taught me something that I'm going to teach you that was very significant. He says, I was out, and he said, I'm out, and I was swimming in the water, and I was trying to get back to shore, and I was like 15 yards away. And I just, no matter how hard I was swimming, I couldn't move. And I just sat there for 15 minutes. I was panicking. I was swimming as hard as I could. I was moving my arms like this and moving my legs and kicking, and I couldn't get back home. And then there's this Hawaiian, and he's standing on a rock. And he yells out and he says, hey. He's watching the whole time. This guy is sitting there laughing, watching for everything. He goes, hey, the current's going that way. So then what he did was he stopped fighting the current, and he turned and he went that way. And then all of a sudden the current just took him to safety. Out of the riptide, off to safety. Right? I don't know if you've ever been going in the wrong direction, and then you just make a correction, and then it's like, bam, all of a sudden success is coming to you automatically, like energetic currents connected to all the things you want, just carrying you along the road of life to get you exactly where you want to go. I remember in this city, one night I was just out and I was wandering around, right? I was just like walking out at night in the city, and then all of a sudden I walked by this park and I'm trying to find my way back. It was late at night, right? And there was no taxis around, and I was just taking a walk. And so I'm walking around in the city and I can't find my way back, and I think I keep remembering where it is, and so I keep turning and turning and turning. And then suddenly I walk by the same park twice, and then I walk by the same park 3 times, and then I walk by the same park 4 times, right? And then I was like, I really don't think that if I'm headed in one direction and don't keep turning back in a circle that I would be seeing the same exact park again and again and again. So what I did is I stopped and I just asked somebody where to go. I stopped what I was doing, which was wandering around. I walked up to somebody that knew where we were supposed to go, like somebody that, lived here, a trusted advisor who was an expert in that area. They were running a hot dog stand or something. Anyway, they knew the area. And I said, I'm looking for this area, and I described it in my very bad Spanish, okay? My Spanish is getting better, but it's really not that good. And then this person, they said, you go that way, 2 blocks, turn right, and then you go that way about another 4 blocks. Be careful because there's, Ladrone in the area, which means there's some robbers. So I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna walk. So anyways, giant America, walking down the road, and then all of a sudden, 20 minutes later, I'm exactly where I need to be, just because I asked somebody who knew where they were going, right? Have you ever been in a situation in your life where it's like you're fighting the currents of life, and then all of a sudden you make some kind of an adjustment in what you're doing, and everything shifts, and you find yourself in this automatic flow? It's like your unconscious mind has just taken over your actions, and your actions are all lined up towards your vision and where you want to go. So where does this all start with? Well, it starts with the desire going out to sea to, of course, stand up on the surfboard. So first you're fighting, you're trying to get out there, right? And granted, maybe you don't get caught in that riptide, you get out there to the waves. But then, when you actually catch a wave, right, you hit it right at the right point, it's actually really easy to ride right back into show, because you're riding with the waves, right? What is the secret that I'm trying to convey to you in this video? That if you want to have things coming to you automatically, there's something that you have to do in order to make that happen now, isn't there? So in any case, right, how does it all start? It starts with a burning desire to have this new future that you want to create. Let's say, if I were going to ask you a question, and I was going to say to you, what are the 5 things that you would do, you would have, and become if time and money were an issue for you? Like, what would you actually do with your life if you could do anything with your life that you wanted to do at all with your life? What would you actually do? Especially in the midst of tumultuous economic activities around you, you're sitting like the eye in the storm, looking out over this new majestic future that you have, and you're saying, I am going to create X, Y, and Z. What is that for you? Is it an income stream that's coming in that is bulletproof to a recession or currencies imploding? Is it a way of making money that you have wealth and happiness and income coming to you at the same time? Is it, do you want to create something new that's going to impact everyone in the whole world in some kind of a way? Is it that you want to wake up every morning and maybe feel really good about what you're doing and feel really good about who you're deciding to align with? Is it that you are wanting to just be able to wake up in the morning and say, it's 8:30 in the morning, I've already made 20 grand a day, And I mean, that might be outrageous to you. Do you just want to radically transform the way you think about life, the way you think about money, the way you think about business, the way you think about your future, the way you think about prosperity? Do you want to radically transform what it is that you have coming to you, to where you're no longer fighting against the current, you're just aiming? It's like you're falling downstream towards your destination automatically, and you don't even have to row in your boat, and you've got the river of wealth bringing to you what it is that you want to create, whether it be happiness, whether it be freedom, whether it be success, whether it be just feeling good about your life situation now. Right? Well, you need a couple things along the way. Number one, some sort of a crystal clear vision of the future. Like, imagine painting your future and making your future crystal clear, to where your future is so bright, it's so clear, it's so vivid, that you can practically feel and see yourself walking into it. Like if you want to manifest for yourself, let's say a property that you want to own outright, that you want to walk into, that you want to put your new keys into and turn, that you want to open the door, and as you're opening the door, it's like you can feel the weight of the door, and you walk into this new house and this new property. Maybe you live off the grid, so all these diseases and these viruses, they're not even an issue for you. And maybe you just, you look out over your view. Maybe it's looking out over the city. Maybe it's like a preference like I have, like you're looking out over the ocean, and it's like you can't even wake up in the morning without hearing the waves of the ocean crashing into the shore. And it's like, it's like the ocean is breathing. And as it brings in, it brings you wealth and prosperity, and as it goes out, it takes away your problems and dumps them into the ocean and just like frees you emotionally of the darkness that you had in your past before you decided to change something. Maybe what now is happening for you is just because you watch this video, you're suddenly finding yourself knowing inside a deep secret to life. And you were going this way, and the current's going this way. You were just fighting a little too hard, and you're not really going there anyway. So what you do is you just make an adjustment, you relax, and you let the waters of life carry you now towards what you want. And it's filled with new decisions. It's filled with new opportunities. It's filled with new changes. It's filled with new insights. It's filled with new revelations about yourself. It's filled with breakthroughs. It's filled with spiritual advancement. It's filled with relationships and abundance and happiness and success and prosperity and peace and enlightenment and just everything that you've ever wanted. Just take everything that you've ever wanted, imagine it all at once, and it's like electricity is flowing out for you, and it's like it's bringing you towards it, and there's something behind you, it's just pushing you along, and it's just saying, walk in this direction, and if you go that way with the current, everything's going to come to you, and people are going to say, hey Billy, you know, I had this feeling like I should just give you $100 for something or $200 for something. Can you teach me the secret of life? Right? Can you teach me the secret of prosperity? Can you teach me the secret of attraction? Can you teach me how to be in the right place at the right time all the time, from the time I wake up in the morning till the time I go to bed at night? Can you teach me the secret? And suddenly you wake up in the morning and you look out over the ocean and your hair like this, and you say, I knew it would work. And while everybody else was complaining and running away, and economies were collapsing, and people were losing their jobs, and all the drama was coming in society, you just moved with the current. And then all of a sudden, everybody was attracted to work with you right now. And that's exactly what's going to happen to you if you simply pay attention to every video that I ever produce, and you listen to the sound of my voice. and you decide to take action when you hear me lay out a plan, because what I'm going to give you is going to work. And here's what I'm going to tell you, is that we're in a critical time right now. A critical time where it's urgent to make a decision. In fact, I think society is practically screaming at us, practically like exploding at us, and it's saying to us right now, hey, it's time to make a decision to change everything, to create what you want, to have the abundance that you want, to create the kind of future and the kind of life that it is that you want to create. It's time to wake up, and it's time to pay attention right now and to take action. It's like society is screaming it. It's like the earth is moaning it. It's like the universe and the sky and your higher power is all saying, hey buddy, it's time to right now decide to take action right now. Isn't it?